Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, day number 2 here, and we are getting raring to go with brackets number 3 and brackets 4 later on in the day. Rotterdam, De Muslim, Pig, here to join me. I've forgotten which is the first match. No, I haven't. It's True versus PartinG. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Someone help me. Yes, perfect.
That is correct.
All right, we're going to be talking about that match and breaking down everything that we're hoping to see here throughout this series as a whole, maybe even some of their aspirations moving through the tournament as a whole. Rotterdam, what are your thoughts?
Hoping to see?
Hoping to see?
Cannons. I want to see some cannons. That's what I'm hoping to see. But with PartinG, you never know. PartinG has a lot of fun War Prison builds as well. He's definitely not your standard Protoss, but he's someone that can truly do it all. Like yes, he can be cheesy, he can be very wild, but at the same time, if you ask him to play a regular macro-oriented PvZ, he's also perfectly capable of that. But that's not what I'm hoping to see out of PartinG. From PartinG, I want to see madness.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Ben, thoughts?
True's a really crazy player. Like, he can flood you with lings at any point in time, but not in the sense of like just all-inning. He'll just have like 40 lings on the map at any point in time, so he can really catch you off guard. But as Kevin said, PartinG's a guy that can actually do it all. Like, most guys that do cannon rushing, that's all they do, right? PartinG can play a really smooth macro game. He can throw anything at you. That makes him super scary. And we also have to mention, he is one of the Protossers with the absolute best control in the world. Like, I remember him against Flash in a final of Home Story Cup where he absolutely shouldn't have won, but he made it happen. And yeah, for that, he's one of my favorite players.
Was that the one where he jumped in the swimming pool?
Yes.
Yeah,
that was the one where he jumped in the swimming pool.
Absolutely.
I remember that bit.
Well, you know what I think is really funny, how StarCraft evolved so quickly? One of the highlights of that final was PartinG grabbing a Stalker, dragging the Widowmine shot into bio units and blinking back. Back then to us, that was like mind-blowing. Now, it's kind of what Jeff said, like, yeah, everybody does that. Like, it's really funny how our standards just keep getting higher.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. And I think it's just fascinating with these two playing, because you mentioned cannons, and there are like cannon elitists out there. There are players who only cannon rush on the ladder. And usually when you see a top tier pro cannon rush, you see them all tweeting, that was pathetic. They're like, no, that was not great. Ooh. Yeah, it was weird. When PartinG cannon rushes, you see them all tweeting, oh my God. Finally, a top-tier player in GSL is doing the cannon rush right. They're like, he knows how to do it. He knows the details of how to do the spawn. He gets the gateways up, the stalkers, the shield batteries. He's filthy. It's fantastic. He knows how to just do the dirty cheese. And I mean, against True, who's a wild player as well, it's awesome. We keep having a lot of these matchups of aggressive players versus aggressive players. It's going to be awesome.
Final thoughts, Kevin?
No, I agree with what Pig said there. He got the print F stamp of approval when it came to cannon rushing, and that's when you're official. I think a lot of very fun matches in the first round, but this one really stood out. We wanted to show this one to you guys. Yeah. I think PartinG is going to take it also because I asked True, I was like, True, who are you playing again? Like 2 days ago. He's like, PartinG. I was like, and? He's like, no chance. I was like, okay. Now, they often say that, but I do think PartinG has a slight edge here, but this should just be fun.
Right. And as always, we will be trying to jump into as many games as possible here at the battle station for Katowice, and I am now going to head left as I do a little shimmy this way, and I join Mr. Jeff in Control Robinson, my friend. How are you doing? Oh, ooh. Why? How closer? Closer? No. All right. What have you got to show us?
I have Katowice Junction here for us. And this is one of the maps in the map pool that we saw quite a bit of action on yesterday. It features your kind of classic main base locations in the top left and bottom right hand location. But the real question for me, of course, is always going to be like, where do you take your expansions? Obviously, you take the natural at both of these, solid, it's got a choke area. But the people in the Twitch chat are burning right now. They're saying, where do I take my third? And honestly, you can take it any one of two places, really, for both players.
Oh, my.
Now, naturally, the question, of course, is what kind of attack paths are you looking at when you got this?
But yeah, it's kind of third base.
Where do we attack from, Jeff?
No, honestly, it can come from anywhere, but a lot of times,
All right. Whoa.
you know what? You can kind of you get the idea.
No. Can we just?
Yeah.
Are we done? Are you done, Jeff?
Yes, and with plenty of fourth base options as well. You know, oftentimes you think about taking the middle one, but that's a little bit too central. You don't want to hang it out too far out in the middle. You kind of want to go off to the side.
Don't hang it out. Yep.
But again, the question becomes, where am I going to get attacked from? And it's a lot of times.
No. Do I have to get the co out again?
Well, anyways, this has been a really nice walkthrough on Katowice Junction. Hopefully you guys have a better idea of how to expand and where to be attacked on from this map. And certainly, if we're watching True versus PartinG, there'll be a lot of attack paths. A lot of times.
Steady on.
Okay.
I think
you know what?
Jeff.
Let's leave it to the imagination.
Let's leave it to the imagination. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Jeff.
you're welcome.
How to expand. Anyway, now let's head over to our commentary team here. I've got my jacket just in case anything bad does happen. Gentlemen, I have Maynard, I have Todd here. Maynard, you were getting a bit excited there for a moment.
I'm just really passionate about map analysis.
Really
It's exactly what I wanted. Amazing work.
Nice, nice. What do you think about the match? How about that?
Oh, the match, the
Yes,
game
yes.
of StarCraft. Okay, gotcha. I think it's going to be great. There's a lot of aggression, a lot of weirdness. True fans going to be excited. PartinG fans going to be excited. I'm expecting cannons, just like Pig mentioned. I'm expecting big Ling floods, Baneling busts, two-base Hydra shenaniganry, stuff like that.
Toddy?
A slugfest is, I think, what we can expect here. They're not going to sit back, macro carriers against warlords. No. This is not the series for that. This is the series to make some units, get on the map, be aggressive, and try to make something happen early for both of these players.
Would you say it's going to be a barn burner?
It's going to be a bloodbath.
A bloodbath.
Definitely a
As
bloodbath.
Pig would put it.
Bloodbath. All right, I'll go and check in with Pig to make sure it is a bloodbath. For now, guys, thank you very much. It's time to start our first round here in Bracket 3.
Well then, you know what? I reckon that might have been the best pre-show in the history of esports. I'm unbelievably excited for this first best of 3. It is going to be PartinG versus True. PartinG, a big, well-known streamer. True, being a part of the WCS circuit for such a long time, of course.
Is that
part
Probe?
of that Psystorm. That is Probe. That's Probe with the pink headset and the blonde hair.
The bleached hair.
The bleached hair, that's right. Representing Legacy. Australian representative. And there is True.
Yeah. True, known for his all-out aggression, very good with pretty much any units that's on hatchery or lair tech. I remember when he used the mass Hydralis style at a time where it was all about those Hydralis banelings. He was like, you know what? They're a little too good with their force fields, so they want to make sentries. I'm just going to mass Hydras, keep on attacking a bit Neeb in some of these tournaments with that style as well. But now he's facing a PartinG who can play so many different build orders himself.
Yeah.
And that's really quite tricky to pick the right one to go against him. Do you maybe just kind of roll the dice and plan your own build and then hope that it goes for the best? Perhaps.
One of my favorite things in StarCraft is to see two players that are similar but be of different races clash in styles against each other. I really can't wait. It's going to be a great time here. True, I feel like probably slightly less favored than PartinG. PartinG's been showing amazing games, been streaming a lot as well. Like PartinG's got a very popular stream, so you get to see a lot of his games. Perhaps True has actually been doing a little bit of his homework here, and if he has, then perhaps the shoe could be on the other foot. But let's get into the game. In the top left here, it is the big boy himself, PartinG. In the bottom right, representing Psystorm with a very early pull and a pause. This is True.
And already the mind games have begun.
Yeah.
On the desk, the boys theorized about something like a cannon rush, which if you open with an early pull like this will be ideal in getting, queens, lings out early to make sure you could prevent that. PartinG, he's got a bit of a reputation himself, for sure. I mean, so does True, but in a different, in terms of aggression and cheeses, I think that PartinG definitely can hold his own and be a lot scarier with some of these early game cannon rushes. Initially known for the Soul Train,
yes,
at which he was one of the absolute best players in the world for a long time.
If you guys are aware or weren't a part of the, we have a lot of new fans in StarCraft. Legacy have always been doing, pretty well. The game's been growing and player base is better than ever. So a lot of you guys may not have seen it, but PartinG had that big Sentry Immortal attack, which we actually still see from time to time in modern games in PvC.
And we call that the Soul Train.
And it is still,
attack with
called the Soul Train.
I think it was very early, let's say 8 minutes 30 to 9 minutes. You move out with 3 Immortals, lots of Sentries, Zealous, and then you warp in Stalkers and go for a big attack. And if you landed perfect force fields, you would win basically every single game. PartinG was very successful with that style. So if you ever see a meme photo with his face stamped at the front of a train,
yes,
you'll know what that means now if you didn't before.
I'm pretty sure it's his Twitch profile picture. But this drone's being a little bit annoying here, trying to block this hatchery. PartinG's already probably like, that's a pretty early drone scout. But it actually isn't a drone scout. True is doing a build that's actually in ZVZ as well, where you get a pool at 12 supply. You don't get any gases, so it's not like a big, Speedling flood or Baneling bust. You actually just get a handful of lings. In ZVZ, it's to try and pressure the hatchery, maybe even pick it off in the best case scenario. In this case, True wants to try and crack PartinG's natural, do a little bit of damage, and then just expand and drone behind it. That said, though, True is getting a few more lings here. Generally, this is, you know, a switch into macro play. As you see, he still hasn't taken his gases.
Yeah, and these two players are so different than your typical Protoss and Zerg. We already see that. We talked about the aggression. I thought that PartinG might be the one to be more aggressive, but True is like, nope, it's gonna be me. He's gonna empower the gateway here, so the first Zealot is not even out.
And this just means that we just got a bunch of probes against a bunch of lings here. And while True is, you know, just getting his queens and his natural up back at home, he is still sending a few more lings across the map. Now, PartinG's trying to control as best he can here, but already losing 8 probes. Not being able to get this pylon up would be a death sentence for PartinG. He needs that Zealot.
Yeah, this is so bad here for PartinG. The Zealot's still not out. He's having to use the probes. I love how True threatened the pylon to make sure that the probes had to be there to keep on fighting, because otherwise he would have killed that as well, and that would have been game. But PartinG down to 10 walkers. He's going to lose some more. True already on 12 drones, and he's still making lings actually behind this.
One of the horrible things of PartinG as well is that he needed to bring his probes back to mining because he didn't have enough minerals to get this Adept out. Which finally is out, and with the Adept, it's going to get a little bit easier. It looks like he might have actually cancelled the Zealot and just going straight to the Adept.
Oh, a lot of these probes are low on hit points.
Yeah.
They regenerated those shields. The last link gets one last probe, and PartinG is now down to 8 probes. This is now a StarCraft Brood War opener here.
Oh, this actually looks like it's going to get depowered again, Todd, and this is still very annoying for PartinG. That's more resources that he can't afford to spend on that pylon. One Adept against this many lings with good micro actually should be fine, but it is still very, very annoying. True has thankfully stopped making lings here. He is finally droning up again, but PartinG definitely on the back foot.
This is crazy. Like, this is without speed.
Yeah.
Like literally Slowling's getting across the map, catching PartinG completely off guard, and killing so many of these probes.
You can see that PartinG visibly dejected there, not happy with how this game's going, and I don't
He looks
blame him.
disgusted.
He's disgusted. Zerg. Ugh. Well, you know, True is just getting his drones up. As we can see, he's up at 19, up 9 workers. He doesn't really need a third base just yet. Just time to saturate his, saturate the bases that he does have and get up into the 20s in that drone count. PartinG with 2 Nexi worth of pro production. Chrono boosts actually can do surprisingly well at catching up, but it is still up to him to try and put some drone damage on the board as well. I think he still only has the 1 Adept. Yeah, he's only got 2 army supplies, so just the 1 Adept. And with just 1 Adept against a couple Queens and, you know, these 8 lings are about to pop out for True, I don't see a whole lot of drone damage happening.
Oh yeah, no, it's not going to do anything, I think. And before,
try.
The Queen's like idle.
And here comes 8 worker kills to make us look silly. He shouldn't be able to get
I'm surprised that, that's
nice save.
Nice one. I was going to say, True's not reacting much, gets a second drone, but that should be it.
And honestly, like 1 Adept for 2 drones is not a good trade. And PartinG still not much of an army. He's just going to GG. It's a bit of an underwhelming game 1 there from PartinG, but True, you see he's happy with himself. Has managed to, that is, the first time I saw that build was in CVZ. So it is interesting to see how well it works against Protoss as well. And honestly, you can see how much it makes sense. So all you ladder Zergs at home and ladder Protoss, I apologize for anyone that's watched that game.
It's funny because it feels like this build, for the most part, shouldn't work against a very, you know, careful Protoss, but now he completely caught him off guard. Like PartinG didn't see that coming at all. That pylon getting empowered really made it so difficult for him after that to have enough probes to keep fighting the lings. And I have to comment True on this is that he kept on making lings, which at first I questioned, but if he hadn't, then PartinG would have had enough probes to prevent those lings from doing enough. And in the meantime, he would have been able to get his Zealot back up and he would be able to mine the way he was doing it. So I think making the extra links really was one of the key points for True to really make this work. At first, I thought he should go back into droning up earlier, but no, it was the right choice, I think, to make more links. And look at this, he's all smiles, looking like a happy boy.
I mean, it always feels nice when you're playing a best of 3 to already be on match point after just a few minutes. That's just the power of True's build there. And we'll see what PartinG could do in game number 2. I wonder if he wants to get aggressive on the other side of the map. I was talking to PartinG a little bit actually before this, before we started the pre-show, and he just seemed like he wasn't feeling confident, that he wasn't feeling very happy about his level at the moment. And honestly, he just looked a little bit down on himself. And I hope that hopefully a few good games of StarCraft can turn that right around, because it does for me. When I play a little bit better, I'm like, you know what, life's okay.
Yeah, it is for sure. When it's all going well.
When it's all going well.
You're peaking.
But then you're on that 15 loss streak.
Yeah.
It's hour 6 of your ladder stream.
There's no end offense coming anytime soon when that's happening.
Well, So game one going pretty quickly here. Let's see if PartinG can get a score on the board, try and tie things up here. I believe in him. I'm sure a lot of people out there watching right now do as well. Let's get into it. In the top right here, representing player one, it is PartinG. Same team as Fantasy. It's unfortunately already been excused from the tournament. Sucks for me, I'm a big Fantasy fan, but... In the bottom left here, representing Storm Gaming, it is True.
No early pull this time around for True.
14 whole supply, not even a...
This is the kind of series where it's like so mind game heavy, and after what we saw in game one, you know, there's always the question, how do they go into game number two in terms of build orders? They kind of have to try and anticipate what the opponent is going to do. This time around, True is going to open with the hatchery on 15 on the expansion, and PartinG, he's scouting like not super early. He gets the gateway at the wall and the natural, then the gas, and it's going to be I guess a quick nexus behind this.
Yeah, I think the timing of True's drone here is to try and block the natural a little bit. Whoa. Hello, I saw that. I know what structure that is. So if PartinG's trying to get a forge after
if you blinked for a second, you would have missed that. But now that the drone is there, does he actually go for that? Probably not, because then it will be revealed instantly.
And PartinG did manage to get a probe into the main base. Now, New Repugnancy actually has a bunch of little crevices on the edges of the main to be able to hide structures for the Protoss. But cannon rushing a Zerg main base is a little bit tough. It's usually the new hatcheries that you want to be trying to cannon back. But as we can see, PartinG is just going Gateway Nexus here. Doubt we'll see a Forge.
Yeah, I wonder in what context he might have made. Like maybe if he wasn't getting scouted and he saw like a super greedy build, he would have made the Forge and then cannoned the Expo. Maybe he was just teasing us. Maybe he knows we're paying attention, and so he's our observer. So he made us think about it for a second, but he was never really planning on cannon rushing. But in this case, nice gas steal from True. This is really annoying. Like you need to get that gas going here as Protoss, and as you can see in the production tab, there's not even a Zealot coming. So this is going to take forever for him to get rid of that. He might even as well take one of the gases on his Expo at this point. Yeah.
Well, what this does here for True is that it kind of makes it tough for PartinG to go for like an Adept and a Warp and a Stargate's the word I was looking for there. Yeah. It's tough to get a Stargate without two gases worth of income. So PartinG's just going to have to rely on Adepts for now, which are relatively gas cheap, only 25 gas per unit.
And we saw it yesterday, the Nidus is such a big part of Zerg versus Protoss currently and very hard to counter. So True, he kind of cheesed, you know, he played very aggressive in game number one. In game number two, we played a little bit greedier early on, but maybe we see him go into something like that, go into something like a Nidus, lots of units, and then go for the kill, hoping that maybe PartinG will have played a little too greedy in the early game to try and punish him.
Well, Twilight Council going down here, only 100 gas for that structure, and that's not a bad option. There's a lot of things you can do with the Twilight Council here as PartinG. You can get up into the Robo Prism drop play with Archons. You can go into something like, say, a Charge Lot all-in, Resonating Glaives attacks. Lots of cool things that PartinG can do and has done before. True actually just sees the Twilight Council. There it is, and it is going to be a Robo.
Spoiled.
So True with absolute information, and this is obviously wonderful for the Zerg, who's getting his third archery off back at home. Already getting a Spore Crawler, already getting some drones out. Like, mate, why is he getting a Spore Crawler? There's no Stargate here. Well, they also detect.
Yeah, look at his supply block though. 36 out of 36. So that losing that one Overlord, True didn't plan ahead. He started his Overlord a little bit late. It's going to take him some time to resume worker production. 36 workers to 29. PartinG doing pretty nice with this. Dropping 3 more gates. With the, I guess we can almost call it like an all-school build, you know, going for that Dark Shrine and the 4 gateways. Usually you'd get a Warp Prism across the map. Warp in 4 Dark Templars that you morph into 2 Archons, and then you harass drones to force Roaches.
I kind of like that True canceled these Spore Crawlers the more I think about it. Initially, I'm like, oh, it would be nice to have that because DTs are coming here from PartinG and they do detect the DTs. But he's got that lair already finished up. So Overseers are, a way to cut costs here. You can keep those drones alive. Doesn't have to get those Spore Crawlers. If to spend money, doesn't have to lose the drones. So nicely done. I like it.
Yeah, with that Forge being dropped here, and we got the Nidus on the way.
Yeah, the worm from down under.
On paper, it feels like the build of PartinG shouldn't be too great against this, right? Because...
Well, I actually feel like if you... DTs actually kill Nidus Worms really, really quickly, but the problem with the Nidus Worm thing isn't like having the units for it. It's knowing where it is and stopping it before it pops up. Yeah,
but I mean the part where it's going across the map, and maybe we'll warp in units across the map when there will be like a ton of units being unloaded into his main base.
That is the annoying part for sure. You know, the Dark Shrine's about to finish. He's going to warp in these DTs, and like you mentioned, they are out of position for a Nidus, which looks to be in the top left corner of the main base.
His task charge as well. Like, that's not going to finish on time to help him against this attack. True is not that high on the roach count, I think, though. How many does he have so far?
Just a few. He also hasn't made the Night Swim yet. He's just started it now.
So these are his only first few roaches. So that's actually that's going to make it harder for him to fight effectively against this army that PartinG should be about to warp in, including the Immortal on the way now. Okay, he spots the Nidus.
And PartinG sees the Nidus, and he's going to have to try and get a defense up now. He has already got an Immortal on the way. He's not really using Chrono Boosts at the moment. You see that he's got quite a bit of energy in the main base. Definitely need to get that Immortal out as soon as possible. Losing this Robo would be devastating for PartinG.
Ooh, the Robo's being targeted down. The Immortal's almost out. I think he's going to finish on time. He comes in there with some Stalkers, some Archons. And actually, this army is not looking too bad, thanks to that one Immortal in particular. Going to do a ton of damage against this army. He knows that he's ahead on the walker count, so even if he loses some of these probes that he's going to pull into the fight, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
And it looks like PartinG's got this, dude. He's going to cut through this Nidus Worm. And True deflected. PartinG does lose 12 probes, but look at how low the worker supply is of True.
Wrecked and pushed back. He did lose a bunch of probes. 12 in total, but he can replenish that. Look, he's already kind of boosting out probes. Starts that +1 upgrade, and having killed the third base of True PartinG, he's just going to be infinitely ahead now.
Yeah, really nice job with those DTs. We're calling them back home to be part of the fight. Beautiful stuff from PartinG. It looked very dangerous on paper there. I thought that PartinG was about to lose the game, but very nicely done. True getting the Evolution Chamber now, still on basically Roachling tech. There's no Hydra Den, there's no upgrades. So a big attack with this army from PartinG actually could do a pretty devastating amount of damage, especially with Charge finishing up.
Yeah, I mean, his army is just so scary. Like, in terms of having a higher tier army than his opponent, like, True is going to be stuck on roaches for the most part, whereas PartinG is on Archons. The more Immortals he gets, the more comfortable he's going to be taking any of these fights. And if he just hits a timing with +1 attack, it's going to be so hard for True to hold on here against a decent amount of units.
Yeah,
I like that he's swapping a sentry, by the way. Very important to get that Guardian Shield going, or even a couple force fields here in some of these fights.
The great thing about this Prism being out with these Archons, sure, there was an opening before where True was going to attack where the Prism wasn't, but now that PartinG has this freedom to use this Prism, he's keeping True's army back, which means getting this third Nexus up is even safer than it normally would be. Oh, DT trying to hack on this Queen. She's detecting it, but she can't stand and fight 1-to-1 versus this Dark Templar.
Yeah, and at this point, True is kind of stuck in a situation where he would like to be droning up, but he can't, because he knows that he needs to get more roaches to get ready for this move out that's happening right now. So he's kind of stuck on 45 walkers and having to make a ton of roaches, and he's going to need the kiting of his life to be able to hold on against this attack here that's coming his way. But there's going to be force fields, and I don't think he has any Ravagers yet. Yeah,
I mean, you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, he's up a fair chunk of army supply, but what is that army supply in? It's in roaches, Todd, and roaches are not super great against what PartinG's got here.
I'm looking.
You're looking at it, and it doesn't look great.
2019 Soul Train, Maynard. That's
right.
What this is.
And there's plenty of force fields here. Those roaches are out of the battle. They don't have shoes to enter this club. They're getting pushed back into the natural. PartinG's taking the third base down. Easy peasy, no problem. With the Prism being able to reinforce plenty of warp gates as well. Charge lots could even be on that front line shortly with Immortals and Archons on the back line doing all that damage. The Prism could even be used to put those big expensive units into safety, just like PartinG's showing us right now. And I think we're going to get a game 3. Big warp in here of Charge lots. PartinG is going to roll through the defenses of True here, who did his best with the Nidus Worm, but got deflected super hard.
Vala Morgulis. What is force fielded may never kite. Don't you ever 12 pull me ever again.
That's quite good. Nicely done. Oh, we are going to get a game 3. Happy days. PartinG fighting back. Showing the fans that he's got what it takes. Go toe-to-toe with True. Such a scary Zerg.
Oh, he's doing the thing where he's like hyped and he drinks water really fast. Like almost like too fast. A lot of players do that.
If I was really good at this game and I was playing in the round of 76 of IEM Poland, I'd guarantee you I'd be choking on water and spitting it all over myself. If I was...
You know that once upon a time I was at a tournament and I kept drinking and then I needed to go to the toilet, but we were live with the broadcast and they were like, if you're leaving right now to go to the restroom, you'll get a penalty points.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I mean, I have to go. And I got a penalty points. And they took a part of my prize money and I won the tournament.
I didn't know about that.
Sad story.
The only one I know about was when that tournament was really hot.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't get me started on that.
Looks like PartinG's walked off here, so probably going to have a little bit of a break.
Yeah, he keeps chugging water, of course. You have to go at some points. But nicely done by PartinG. Very well defended. I was worried because he warped. I think he recalled
Yeah,
But,
he recalled the
yeah.
prism with the Archons and everything.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of weird. He's whopping in Fog Exemplars again. Where did he get the economy from? But no, that was actually a recall, and then he morphed the Archons on his natural, and he was ready there.
Yeah.
So yeah, build order-wise, that I think if True had done the version with a lot of roaches and queens, and maybe a little bit more delayed, it would have been better. But now he did it with like, a bunch of lings, and yeah, it didn't feel like build order-wise yet. This was going to be too great when I looked at the compositions and when the Nidus was happening.
Also, seeing as we had a little bit of downtime and it's just us talking to you guys out there in Twitch land, thank you very much for everyone that enjoyed the tournament yesterday. We're looking to make it an even better day 2 than it was day 1. Of course, saw a lot of the community's comments. A lot of them were very excited about our map analysis, particularly the one that I did, which was very nice. Saw that one guy, saw one guy comment, did the internet comment where he's like, you know what, Maynard used to be complete garbage. He was an absolute trash commentator for like 8 years, but finally, I think he's pretty good. Congratulations, Maynard.
Yeah, I mean...
I was like, wow, that's a really messed up compliment.
Is that what you call a backhanded compliment?
That is a backhanded compliment, yes. We're teaching Todd English here as his second language.
That's about as good as an example as it gets, right? I guess in terms of that.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
funny.
could choose to look at the fact that he said you were a trash commentator before, or you could relish in the fact that he said you're great now.
Yeah, exactly. And I am a glass half full kind of guy, so I skipped to the end of his essay.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, chapter 2 was how bad I am, but chapter 3, that's where it really turned around.
So you've come a long way.
It was a great act 3 in that story.
You've come a long way from these times you were a trash commentator.
Yeah, I mean,
good job.
There was all these times when we hated each other, we couldn't stand each other. But you know what, Todd? After 9 years of casting together, I can finally bear to stand next to you and cast a best of 3.
Yeah, on your box over there. Nice.
All right, PartinG is back and Game 3 has begun, friends. Let's cast some StarCraft. In the top left here, it is the man in question, Player 1's PartinG. And in the bottom right, representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is True. A previous WCS champion. Previously a member of Code S Club as well. Used to play a lot of Code S. PartinG, of course, no stranger to that club himself.
Yeah, a very elite club. Can't say I was ever part of it myself, despite multiple attempts to qualify.
Now, True is being a little bit interesting with this drone PartinG here. There's a few things you can do when you're trying to hide a drone against a Protoss. We've seen, Bly go for proxy hatcheries, or even just using a hatchery to block the natural. Bly, of course, just going whole hog. And I can't remember who it was against, but he actually made it might have been Trap. It's like putting a hatchery inside of his main base.
Yeah.
Or, you could proxy one, get a Roach Warren. That's something that True's definitely done before.
You can create such awkward situations where it's very hard for a lot of these players to actually know how to react to this, because so few people can do this effectively. Like those that do usually, they don't have necessarily like the clearest of ideas how to maximize their efficiency, but not guys like True.
True tried to drop the hatchery, but unfortunately didn't get it down. PartinG doing a good job blocking with that probe. And this early drone that True perhaps was trying to intend to do something with his, with this drone, might not be able to get too much done either. PartinG's also got that probe in position, which blocks the gas steal. Doesn't need to make a gas geyser, just needs to be hole positioned on the gas. And the drone can't do anything.
Damn, that drone got denied.
Yeah.
That's going to be happening tonight, sir.
Get out of my house.
Get off my lawn.
I like this reaction from True. Just go for the super fast third base before 2 minutes and just get into the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, True opening the way he is now, it almost feels like, he's a normal Zerg outside of the fact that he scouted pretty early. And a lot of the time, like I said, it's going to be extremely rare for somebody like True to go into the late game with building up his economy as much as he can, unlike, many Zergs like to do. But here's the thing. Even if he does something like that, he's actually pretty good at it. Like his late game or his macro-oriented game is very underrated. Like the few times that we saw him do this, he actually did really well. It's just that he's so much better in terms of playing aggressive and trying to make something happen in the early to mid game.
The last time I underestimated True's late game was when he was playing Innovation in BlizzCon a couple of years ago, back in 2017, and True made me look bad. Certainly can play it. Twilight Council opening here from PartinG, no Stargate again. So seems to enjoy this tech path a little bit more against Zerg in the early stages. There's also another cool thing that PartinG did in the early stages of the game was he got his warp gate, or gateway rather, right by the main nexus, which makes it a lot easier to defend against early pulls from True. Like if he went for the 12 pull again, part of the reason that worked so well is because PartinG went for his wall off on the low ground. But you get it up like this, it's a little bit easier to be using a little bit of SimCity and a drone pool to be, or pro pool rather, to defend against it.
And with that layer on the way here pretty quickly, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw roaches being made once again. Maybe another Nidus, but just a better version of it. I really feel like last game, no, it wasn't necessarily the crispest of builds as he went for.
Shade's a little interesting here from PartinG. There's not really near any mineral lines, but now he's going to find some drone damage here.
Run for the hills.
For the adapt clap, as Atosis calls it. One-shotting those drones. Also, this Overlord on the other side of the map is going to supply block True here.
I like how you say that.
That's how it's said properly. So getting a couple drone kills, and that Adept is going to escape with her life for now, just trying to get whatever she can get done. Well, it's very aggressive from PartinG. Again, I would say that 2 drones for a couple of Adepts, not worth it for PartinG, but he hasn't had a horrible early game, so it's not, you know, critical damage.
What did True scouts, if anything at all, inside of the main base? Did he send his Overlord?
Not a whole lot. It's pretty.
Nothing.
It looks pretty regular. Well, we do see an Overlord.
Maybe he doesn't care because he's getting a Nidus.
That's right. You don't need to scout what they're up to when you dictate the game. So he's got those queens ready to get into the worm. PartinG is getting several gateways and a Dark Shrine. Keep in mind that the Dark Shrine means that there's a Robo as well. And Immortals, Dark Templar, all pretty important to be able to defend the worm. But it looks like the worm's actually going to come a little bit earlier this time for True. There's no Immortal in production for PartinG either.
Yeah, and PartinG last game detected this at the last second by making a pylon in the corner of his base. Let's see if he does that again, because if he doesn't do it, and he learns about this when the sound of the Nidus completes, that would be worse for sure, because then those links, they can start on streaming in inside of his mineral line.
This could also be another one of those situations where, you know, True doesn't have an Overseer with his army, or I think the Overseer is coming in now. The DTs are hacking away at that third base. True is here with that Overseer. PartinG recalls his DTs and his Prism.
Ooh, there is an Overseer already there.
Yeah.
But those Dark Templars with the help of the probes will deal very nicely with those links. And the Queens, they're off creep.
They are off creep. They need to get up in the front lines here and start picking away at that War Prism. The Natural is being attacked here by True. PartinG is starting to bleed out probes, but of course he can afford to lose some here. True is very, very all in on 24 workers at the moment. PartinG with a big surroundings workers. The DT's actually doing so much damage.
Yeah, those probes are like Spartans getting in there, looking to try and trade as well as they can here. PartinG with the force pickup. He's already lost so many probes, it looks like he's going to be losing some more. True overwhelming the Natural at the same time, now working on the units that are left in the main base.
I think that PartinG might be able to hold here with this War Prism being so important for him. A lot of the Queens are dead here, Todd, which means that War Prism can continue to juggle these units around. The Natural, yes, has lost probes, but PartinG had a DT down there hacking away at those Lings, and he still has more workers than the Zerg. The Zerg needs to be on 30-something drones right now to turn this into a game.
That force field was sick. Get back here, Queens. Snipes the last one, and now
you shall not leave.
It's only gonna be Lings to try and deal with Charge Lots, Archons, Dark Templars, the 1 sentry being warped in. Not a good news here for True, and I don't think he did enough damage.
No, absolutely not. And True, again, very all in. He's only making Lings right now, and that just means that PartinG just needs to hold to win this game and win the series.
And the last few Lings trying to do what they can. Overseer being targeted down. Once that dies as well, it's going to be impossible to replace that because he has no Overlord, I think, left on the side of the map. So then Dark Templars would defend easily. But Charge Lots are like the dream here to have against these Lings running around.
Bye-bye Overseer. The detection is gone here for True. So the only thing you can hit are these Zealots, these Sentries, these Probes. The DTs will continue to hack away. I feel like PartinG should just, he's doing it right now. Just grab that one DT, kill that Nidus Worm, and end this shenaniganry.
Get out of here.
That's right. So PartinG is obviously in a really, really, really good spot. True is going to continue to fight on because it is the final game in the series, but he is in a very, very big world of hurt. Trying to replenish Queens. He has no Queens anymore. He lost them all in that attack. He needs to inject. He's just injecting right now, which means a lot of production's being missed. A lot of his income isn't here, and he just basically has no economy. So this is fantastic for the Protoss.
Yeah, 23 drones there is just an absolute disaster, and he knows that there's a lot of counter-attacking potential, which we see now with PartinG moving out. So he made a bunch of links to have some counter-attacking potential himself if there were to be this move out. But I mean, look at the Ro16 is not even there.
Yeah.
He's about to be attacked by this massive army with Archons and Charge Lots.
Good luck and have fun. Good luck and have fun defending against Zealots and Archons with just Lings and Queens. It is a little bit tough. Oh, that pylon is powering quite a bit. We do have another one finishing just in a second. Defensive Dark Templar here from PartinG, funnily enough, can't actually attack until that pylon dies. The Archon gets surrounded. Ooh, that's actually a nice pick off there for True, but there are still so many Zealots left, and even though they don't have charge, they're very, very good once they get into range of these units.
If True can buy some time and get enough roaches and have the best kiting on his life, then he's probably still gonna lose, but I don't know, at least maybe he'll put up a fight, I don't know. Like, it feels like he needs a lot more roaches than this.
Oh, there it is. I was wondering where that Warp Prism was for PartinG.
Oh, there wasn't charge actually.
Yeah, no, there hasn't been charged for, you know, the whole game yet. So it's 2/3 of the way done. It's just been slow Zealots for PartinG, but again, you know, if he can get into the range of those roaches, he should be okay.
Those things are insane. They're going all the way around.
These lings are fantastic for True, but the biggest blunder from PartinG is losing that Archon, not having the Warp Prism when he's attacking Force until a little bit too late.
I think if PartinG realized how many walkers he's on, and in particular how many walkers True's on, he would definitely slow down a little bit, build up his own economy, maybe take a third, and try to be a little bit aggressive at the same time. But I mean, these drones, they're just basically asking to die here on the third base by themselves.
Yeah, Force Field's keeping the Queens and the Roaches away from that third base. The Zealots are just hacking away on that hatchery. Even if the Zealots get cleaned up here, they should be able to kill this hatchery. The transfuses are coming down, but not enough transfusions to keep it alive.
Nice snipe here by PartinG, who's going to try and retreat behind this. Still threatening the main base with the Prism. And more units towards that third base. He drops 2 more gates. Both players not really making workers here at this stage, and the Spire is actually going to start here for True.
And the Spire is a pretty good idea on paper, but how does he get enough resources to make enough Mutalisks stand this game?
He's only on 2 gases. Like, he's taking the third one now in his natural. This feels like an old school Cats game, you know? Also, like on one base going Muta against a Cannon Rush or something.
Spy's been detected here by this Warp Prism with the DTs in it.
Oh, he was only on 1 gas up until now. That just finished.
That's what I mean. Like, how do you get Mutas with this little gas?
Watch him.
I'm ready to watch him, man. If he makes this work, I'll be extremely impressed.
We're at.
A couple Zealots being left behind, not enough room in that Prism for the Zealots and the Archon. And this attack in the natural from PartinG looks extremely deadly. Now the Prism is actually here.
Oh my god. There's a bunch of units, I think. There was in there. Nice force field here. He's going to trap these units out. He's morphing 3 Ravagers now, but he's too late.
Yeah, Biles do get rid of those force fields, but it is a little bit late. Those Roaches are stuck in the main base for the most part. Here come the Biles to break down his force fields, but there's more where that came from. PartinG all over the front natural here of True. The army supply starting to head into the Protoss' favor, which is never good for the Zerg. And that is most of True's army just dissipating in front of our very eyes.
The transition to Muta is very ambitious when there is 4 Archons, Stalkers, and Sentries.
He just loaded some units into the Nidus and then it died. That was funny. Anyway, that looks like True is going to have to tap out here. PartinG's just go way too much. Took him a little while to finish him off, but he's done it. True is going to have to tap out and fight on from the losers bracket. PartinG continues to enjoy the winners bracket at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2019. Nicely done by the big boy. Still doesn't look extremely confident, I got to say. Like he's not really too happy with that game, I'd say, by the looks of things.
I mean, it's typical pro gamer behavior, right? Like you win 2-1, but the only game you can think about is that one time you got 12 pulled and lost a bunch of probes. You're like, I can't believe I'm this bad at the game, even though I just won.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? Well, we have PartinG in their 2-1 victory over True, and we're going to take a short break. When we come back, an interview with PartinG and Smix. Don't go away.